This video shows an overview of the maintenance of the MSQ 22.5. Warning: take all safety precautions as described in the manual. These are the chapters explained in this video along with the times. These can be clicked in the timeline, local control panel, digital diesel control, fuse 3 amps, remove fuse before maintenance or disconnect starter battery. The MSQ 22.5. Step 1. Oil removal. Step 2. Replace oil filter. Step 3. Oil filling. Step 4. Check oil level. Step 1. Oil removal. Procedure: remove the oil dipstick. Note: removal of oil is easier with a warmed-up engine. Insert the hose in the opening for the dipstick. Push the hose to the bottom of the sump. Pump until all oil is removed. Step 2. Replace oil filter. The oil filter needs to be replaced every 300 hours. Remove the filter by rotating counterclockwise. Note: oil will leak out of the filter. Replacing oil filter: a smear of oil has to be put on the seal of the filter before fitting the filter. Screw the new filter on until the seal touches the metal. Tighten it by a final 3/4. Step 3. Oil filling. Unscrew the cover from the oil filling point. The MSQ 22.5 requires heavy-duty lubricating oil, meeting the requirements of API Class CF, CF4, CH4, CI4 or CI4+. We recommend a multigrade oil 15W40. Note that the engine may contain some residual oil due to testing at the factory. The engine requires 7 liters. Do not overfill as this has a negative effect on engine performance. While filling, check the lubricating oil level by means of the engine oil dipstick. Screw the cover back on. Step 4. Check oil level. Procedure: remove the oil dipstick, wipe it clean, and reinsert it. Take the dipstick out again, check the oil level. Make sure to keep the oil level between upper and lower limits of the oil gauge to prevent engine damage. Note: the engine needs to run for a moment to fill the new filter. Check oil level again. Replace air filter. Frequency of filter change depends on environmental circumstances. Procedure: check the air filter and replace when necessary. Do not clean the air filter element. Place the bracket into position and screw it back. Replacing impeller. Remove the cover to access the impeller. Remove the impeller with some pliers. When replacing the impeller, the gasket between the housing and cover should also be replaced. Install the new impeller and add some lubricant like Vaseline to the scoops. Put the cover back on with the new gasket. Make sure that the gasket is placed properly between the housing and cover. Replacing V-belt. Procedure: first loosen the mounting bolt on the bottom of the alternator. Next, loosen the adjusting bolt. Remove tension of the V-belt. Push the alternator aside. Now remove the V-belt. Replace the old one with a new V-belt. Check the engine serial number for the right model. Pull the alternator back and tighten the adjusting bolt. The alternator bracket allows adjustment of the V-belt tension. Deflections should be 13 mm or 0.5 inches. Check the tension of the V-belt and tighten the mounting bolt again. Fuel system maintenance. Inline fuel filter change is needed when the fuel is contaminated and is part of preventive maintenance at least every 400 running hours. Loosen the hose clamps. Replace the old with the new filter. On the fuel filter is marked what the input and output is. A clogged filter results in a lower output power and or an irregular running engine. Frequency of drainage and replacement of the fuel-water separator depends on environmental circumstances and fuel distribution. Replace the fuel filter every 300 hours. Rotate the filter counter-clockwise to remove it. Fill the replacement fuel filter with some fuel before remounting. Rotate clockwise to tighten the filter. To bleed the fuel system, the screw of the fuel pump needs to be opened slightly. Hold the start-stop button until diesel comes out of the screw. Make sure all air is out of the system and retighten the screw before letting go of the start button. Refill coolant and air bleeding. Warning: never open when hot. Remove the cap from the coolant filling point. Rotate the cap counterclockwise. Always use coolant which is compatible with aluminum components of the cooling system. Do not mix coolants with different kinds of chemical compounds, as this may cause congelation of the coolant. In case of doubt, refresh the content of the entire cooling system. Only use long-life type G12 plus cooling liquid in order to minimize maintenance. For a complete refill, roughly 7 liters of WhisperPower G12 Plus are needed. After it is refilled, close the filling point. After coolant is added, make sure to bleed the system, start the engine, and open the bleed screw slightly counterclockwise. Retighten the bleed screw. When no further air bubbles are expelled, fill coolant if necessary. Note: coolant may leak. Overview historical data. Press the select button repeatedly until hours before maintenance appears on the screen. Press the select button once. History data menu will now be shown on screen. Press the Set button once to view the History Data menu. The total runtime will now be displayed on the screen. Press the Select button repeatedly to cycle through the menu. The latest warning will now be displayed on the screen. Latest warning is only a warning and will not stop the generator. The latest failure will now be displayed on the screen. Latest failure will show the latest reason the generator stopped. Press the Stop button once. You will now return to the home screen. Reset maintenance timer. Hold the Select button until Select menu appears on the screen. Press the Select button repeatedly until Service menu appears on the screen. Press the Set button once when Service menu is shown on screen. Hold the Set button until Clear Maintenance Time Done appears on the screen. Press the Stop button once. The maintenance timer is now successfully reset. Spare parts overview. Disclaimer: examples shown may vary in practice.